What up, YouTube? It's your boys from Who's the Master. We are back. I got a full house in the house tonight. We got, of course, the regular crew. We got Ecclesi. What up, Ecclesi?
What's up? What's up?
Ecclesi keeping it fresh with the House of the Dragons backdrop. We got to the bottom corner. We got your boy, your resident hater, V-Dub.
What up, America?
It's Make America Great section right over there on the right side of you. We got the anti-woman and the pro-white going to the right side of the screen. Mm-hmm. Right below me, we got the man with his military blues in the background and a whole lot of scotch in his belly. We got brand new to the podcast. We got our boy LA. What up, LA?
What's going on, guys? Excited to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to do what we can here for the next chapter of Game of Thrones.
Got the blues and the blues.
That's right.
The blues and the blues.
LA is at work. We used to call him the most interesting man alive because he is that dude from that commercial. So we're glad to have him on the podcast. Of course, we want you guys to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell up top to get notified. That way you can join in next time we go live and take part of the discussion. But of course, this is an exciting one because this is one we've all been waiting for. We got to watch the first episode of House of the Dragon, long anticipated prequel to Game of Thrones, as we find out at the beginning. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it up. I want to go ahead. I know we're all passionate Game of Thrones fans, but there was one man in particular who at the beginning of season 8 said there's no way that anybody can screw this up. And so I thought there's no better way to start this podcast than seeing what Ecclesi has to say about this opening episode. Ecclesi, did they screw it up or did they hit it out of the park?
I think the only answer I can really give, Al Pacino said it best, man. Every time I get out, they pull me right back in, man. I was impressed with this episode overall. I think it was a great way to get us back into the world of Westeros, a great introduction to the characters, and a great setup for, all the exciting things to come. I think it's about to be a wild ride, personally. But Vince, what did you think?
I'm kind of with you. I mean, they lay in the foundation, so not a lot goes on except for trying to build the world, kind of get us reset back into that mode of Game of Thrones. I will say I am a little bit nervous as far as how things are going to play out, because I don't know if you can live up to the hype. That's what I'm worried about. So we're going to see moving forward if you can and if you can't.
What Vince means to say is he's nervous because they put a woman in charge at the end of the episode.
Oh, man, let's not go there. I should not go there. Everybody knows that's not true, man. V-Dub loves the ladies. What are we talking about?
V-Dub loves his ladies.
All right, before I go on, let's of course kick it to our guest, the guest of the podcast. LA, what were your initial thoughts on the episode?
Man, I think they did really good overall, but I will say I think they played it kind of safe. I mean, at the end of the day, they took us back through Westeros. They took us back through King's Landing, took us back to what we know. We kind of played through the whole thing. We got reacquainted with the dragons, with some of the families and the normal drama. And, you got the young generation, the old generation. And then we had a little bit of fallout there with the birthing issues. But I mean, I will say for me, there wasn't a sufficient cliffhanger. So that's my initial kind of holdup. They're setting it up, but they're playing it a little safe. That's all I'm going to say. You would have thought maybe they're going to really go into it. Someone's about to die. You know what I mean? That we're already getting used to, right? No, they played a little safe. So that was my first take, a little safe.
Well, this is a story that they've gone over. This is one of the stories of Game of Thrones that has some context to it that George R. R. Martin has kind of gone into in the books. And so I think he's maybe expecting, or the show creators are expecting, some of the people that know kind of the backstory behind what happens to view that ending as a cliffhanger, because it does set the stage for a lot of stuff that's about to go down. No spoilers, but shit is about to hit the fan. And so I think maybe they're expecting people have kind of gone into that realm of Game of Thrones and gone to that YouTube wormhole and know a little bit of that. I thought it was fantastic, man. I heard a lot of critics were kind of bashing the initial episode. I didn't specifically go in to read any of them because I wanted to keep myself fresh and stay away from spoilers. But some of the initial reactions were kind of negative, and it once again goes to show you that critics don't know shit. That's why you need to listen to this channel. because I thought they did a great job. I thought the dragons looked great. I thought it was a great way to start the episode with showing us a dragon flying in and showing you right off the bat that this show has got its P's and Q's down when it comes to special effects and what it's going to show us with the dragons. We don't have to wait for that. It's right off the bat.
I'm not going to deny. I mean, the budget's there.
Yeah.
Like I said, they're laying down the groundwork, right? The framework, excuse me. But at the end of the day, I mean, come on, we're expecting Game of freaking Thrones here.
No,
Like,
I agree. I agree with you,
something.
Luis. They didn't have a hook. They didn't have a hook. The first Game of Thrones, start off with the White Walkers and ended with Bronn getting tossed off ended up with the incest. It was shocking, and then they had him toss off things. So this episode did not have a hook at all, and I think they did that on purpose. But one thing you did say that kind of got me kind of thinking about it a little bit differently was they did play it safe, but I don't think they played it safe, because of story, because they didn't have a hook. I think they played it safe because they want to ease us back into the world. But you're right. A hook at the end of this episode probably would have been a whole lot better. But with that being said, they needed that for that pilot for Game of Thrones to get us into that series because they were throwing so much at you. So they needed something to make you come back so you didn't feel overwhelmed. Whereas this one, I think they had a little bit more liberty to say, okay, we pissed a lot of people off. Let's ease them back in and then take it from there. But I see what you're saying. I see exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't even think about it until
let me
you
jump
said
in
it.
though. Let me jump in with something though, because one of the things that I like best about Game of Thrones was the focus. I know we had the White Walkers, but I also like when the focus was actually on the throne itself. And this episode did lay the foundation for us to really be pursuing future episodes focused on who's going to be on the throne. So the throne was really important in this particular episode. And so I really did like that shift back to what Game of Thrones was and what I think House of Dragons is going to be.
Yeah, Aaron, you make a great point when you talk about that first episode of Game of Thrones. Like, we look back on it as the beginning of an epic show until season 8. But when we were first initially watching that show, nobody knew what Game of Thrones is. None of us knew what it was. And so you needed that shocking ending to say, hey, okay, this is what the show is about. This is why you get to tune in. We're coming into House of Dragons. We already know what Game of Thrones has the capability to be. So they just need to not fuck it up. And this was
okay. Wait. Let me ask you guys this. So what I always liked about hanging out with Ecclesi after an episode was him coming back with the quotes, right? Yeah. The quotes from the different characters, because he would come in and be like, "Oh my gosh, right? Tyrion said this. Can you believe?" What were the quotes that were memorable for you on this one? Put that
King
out
for
there.
a day. Although we never heard him say it.
That was the only one that was like, okay, maybe something, but what else?
Yeah, no, you're right. And that's the one thing that I was worried about when I was watching this episode. And this is the one thing that I have a concern about, and I hope they fix it. The thing that made Game of Thrones is the quotes came. It wasn't just the quotes, it was the characters. They had a colorful group of characters. Everyone had their own personality. Everyone was fleshed out. A lot of these people all fit the same. A lot of these people fit the same style archetype. Like the people at the council, there was nobody who stood out. Whereas the Game of Thrones, you had Tyrion at the council, you had old Elena at the council, you had Tywin at the council. Varys sometimes would be at the council. Littlefinger would be at the council. They all had their unique things. So when I was watching this episode, that's the one thing that shocked me. That I was like, okay, George R.R. Martin, because this is based on like a dictionary, like an encyclopedia. It's not based on a fleshed out perspective story. So I agree with you on that. But I will say this though, the one thing that I think where they are going to separate themselves from Game of Thrones. As much as I love Daenerys, everybody knows Daenerys is probably in the end my favorite character in the end of that show. The way that they have this set up, that little girl, when I first saw her, I was like, oh God, this fake Daenerys. Then I watched her, I was like, yeah, she can act. And Matt Smith, I already know he's a great actor, you know what I'm saying? So I think what they're going to do is they're just going to rely a little bit more on the actors. But you're right, man. The characters aren't there yet, but I think this is like some Shakespearean shit, man. So where, it's going to be more built on tragedy, more built on, family and things like that, as opposed to
fire and blood.
Different families.
What's that going to bring? Right?
Yeah. Well, quick little point before I kick it over to V-Dub. You're right, Aaron. This series, we had a lot of actors that we recognized. Whereas Game of Thrones, a lot of these actors, maybe overseas, a lot of them had careers in England. We maybe they would have known them, but a lot of us didn't know them. This series, you can definitely tell that it's a lot hotter property because we got a lot more characters, like actors that we recognize. V-Dub, did you have something to add on to that?
Well, I was just going to talk about when E was getting into the point about the show itself and pretty much just how the evolution of Game of Thrones happened. But here, I think we haven't seen what these characters are going to be just yet. You know, they're sitting around the table, and sure, they may not have brought enough to the table right now, but eventually, I think you got to give them time that they can.
Oh yeah, no. I agree with that. But I think what he's saying is like even the first episode of Game of Thrones, Tyrion stood out immediately. Jaime, you knew what he was about. Cersei, you already knew what he was about. Arya was still the little brash brat, and they're going to evolve. And I think that they're setting it up like this because what they don't want to do is come out with the same type of format, the same type of formula to where we start comparing this to Game of Thrones. What they don't want us to do, and I could tell, is they do not want us to compare it to Game of Thrones. They want this to be stand on its own. But they also want us to understand that it's still in the same world, which is why they use kind of the same score, but they change it a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it was a nice moment when at the very end, they've got that solo shot on her, and then all of a sudden you hear that familiar score kick in right at the very end of the episode. So that was a nice little touch.
It started off with Daenerys, with the Daenerys score. You know, the first scene.
It did. Yeah,
it started off with the Targaryen score.
Yep.
Now, what did y'all think about the production value of this show? Because they spent some money on this show.
Yeah.
I know those checks were cash.
Like you guys talked about at the beginning when they show her riding that dragon and you see that sky shot, I think you knew immediately there's some money being spent on this show. You wouldn't have got that early in Game of Thrones. That just wasn't happening. But they have it this time. That budget is I hear they're spending more on this season of House of Dragon than they spent on the last season of Game of Thrones. And I was like,
for real?
With the actors, how's that even possible? Because almost $1 million a piece. How is that even possible?
Yeah.
But that's what I know.
All I know is they couldn't afford somebody to clear the coffee cups off the tables in the last season of Game of Thrones. So that don't surprise me.
I don't know, man.
We know they're selfish. They probably pocketed it all for all we know. I don't want to talk about that show, man. Look, you already get me in a bad mood. I was in a good mood. Look what y'all are doing to me right now. But what did you think about the acting, though, man? Because Patty Considine, who plays Viserys, was the king's name. I'm not 100% sure. Forgive us on that. We'll get the names down.
Viserys the first. Viserys the first. Dany's brother was Viserys as well. She was named after this guy.
Okay.
Damn, look at Vince. He actually did some research for a change.
I mean, I just might be smart, man. You know, look at the big brain.
I didn't know that. So no, not that. The brother got the gold poured in his head.
Yeah,
that was Viserys. Okay. I was thinking. I thought it was Rhaegar. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And now that I think about that. What did y'all think about the actors?
I thought the acting was fantastic, man. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I thought it was solid, and that's what I'm saying. They did their jobs, right? They played their stoic roles. They're doing what they're doing. I think right now, I would say out of everybody, Daemon is the most curious to me because he's not coming out as a clear villain, right? Like if you look at how he was at the funeral, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he was actually concerned, right, for his niece, right? He's actually kind of being a little empathetic, and so in those moments where he's like, wait, he's got a great relationship with her, and yet at the end of on the other side, right, he's also trying to basically challenge his brother to a certain degree.
But does he honestly believe that the small council doesn't have his brother's best interest in mind and that he feels a little slighted because he knows he could support his brother, but his brother doesn't seem to believe in him?
I think they answered that question when the first time we saw him, he was sitting on the Iron Throne, Anshul.
Yeah, but then once again, we don't know if he was peacocking for what's the girl's name?
No, she came in on him and said, "What are you doing?" It wasn't like he summoned her there. You know what I'm saying? She was just like, "How long has he been there?" He was in there chilling by himself. No, he has ambition. They called it what it is, and their relationship I liked a lot. But you can also see the foreshadowing of him wanting to be the heir, her being named the heir. We know it's about a civil war. Mm-hmm. Boom. There it is.
Well, I think they're obviously setting him up to be the bad guy. It's just that in Game of Thrones, people normally have more than one side to their character. So he can definitely be a caring uncle 1 minute, but also kind of cheating in a night fight, whatever you want to call it, in a joust. In a joust, he can also be cheating and kind of doing things kind of underhanded that way. And when it comes to caring about his brother, yeah, he wants the Iron Throne, but I think there is some genuine care about his brother because, as Luis pointed out, when they were sitting at that funeral, he was like, hey, your dad's going to have to rely on you. You know, you need to be there for him. So there seemed to be some genuine care about him. I just don't know if he cares about him more than the Iron Throne.
I mean, and that's what I'm saying. I think the acting came through in that, right? Like it made you kind of curious. It made you interested in the character in that regard. I just wish the writing was to be a little more edgy on that side. That's all.
Has Matt Smith ever played a good guy, by the way?
I don't recall.
Was he Doctor Who one? Was he Doctor Who?
Oh, that's right. He was Doctor Who. He was Doctor Who.
Yeah, he was Doctor Who
yeah.
at one point, but that's it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
he's legit, man. You know, and it's kind of funny because they were like, oh, there's not going to be any sex or violence in this show. You know, that's the big thing they were screaming. There's a lot of sex and violence in this show for the first episode.
Yeah, they did not hold back.
I just
man.
fell out laughing.
Holy
I was
cow.
like, what are they
You
talking
got a
about,
castration in the first episode.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's crazy.
there's
Yeah.
always
Oh,
enough
yeah.
violence right there.
Yeah,
And then
and they
oh, go ahead.
go ahead, Aaron. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I think that was foreshadowing to his character too about how cruel he can be because he went out there and handled business. Now, like Vince said, he had different motivations behind it. Like, I want the city to be safe. People are coming in from all over the world, all over the land, I should say. But you know, we know who the villain is. He's the villain. He's gonna be the villain we love. I can already see that. But he's the villain. Well, you know what?
I don't know.
I can't
if he
say that.
is.
You're right,
There was a
Vince.
little foreshadowing. Yeah, there was a little foreshadowing about somebody else that they kind of mentioned that was never brought on screen. But I think there may be a different villain. But
Yeah.
I agree with you guys about the acting. It was good seeing Dr. Connors from Spider-Man show up,
Mhm.
the lizard. You know,
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while, so always good to see him show up in something.
Yeah, man. You know, one thing that stood out to me a lot different than the first like 5 seasons of Game of Thrones. I guess season 4 is when it changed with the costumes, man. And I know we don't want to be those type of people just to get into break down all the intricacies of the show.
Mhm.
But it kind of goes back to the budget. It just stood out to me. I was like, man, these dudes are laced up right now. Like they spent some money, but I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm not sure where it's going to go. This is the one. I don't want to get ahead of myself and start doing research because I know there's too many spoilers out there because this has an ending. It has a set ending. We know what's going to happen, and I don't want to take it from there. But I'm curious to how they do this show. Are we gonna grow with these characters year by year like we did with the Starks and everything, or are they gonna do time jumps? Or I'm curious how they're gonna do this.
Are we doing a prediction? How long is King Viserys on the throne? How many episodes?
I would say one more episode. I wouldn't be surprised if he dies next episode.
I would give him at least 3, possibly 4, but he's definitely gone this season.
Yeah, he's at least getting sick or something.
Well, they already foreshadowed that too, with a thing on his back. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
we're
Cancer,
gonna talk about
probably.
that. What's going on? Like, how are you going to burn that off when he's immune to fire? Like, how does that even work?
Yeah, cauterize the wound. I mean,
Yeah.
you can burn
You
wounds
just
like that.
reminded me of something too, though. We'll get to it next, but let me write it down so I don't forget. But
Old men got to write it down so they don't forget.
yeah.
I would give more of that.
I'm
I
getting
would
no,
give
but
more
yeah.
of that.
How do you cauterize
They
a
let us
dragon?
know. And did he cut himself on the throne after he yelled at his brother, or did he just start bleeding?
We don't know. That's the mystery behind it, right?
Oh, I thought it was a cut. I thought it was.
He said
definitely
it's a cut from the
It
Iron
looked like it
Throne,
was
but
a
it's
cut.
never established. You know?
No, when he's sitting down on his hand, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you know
but I didn't
exactly.
see
Yeah.
I didn't see where he cut it, where he got cut at though. You know?
Mhm.
It was
I
like
don't know
on
if it was-
his finger or something. I thought it was more like a prick than a cut.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I could be
It
wrong
could-
though. I'm just saying
It
that's what I
could be.
thought. when I
It could be
watched
one of two things, or a combination of two things, where either they're showing you that he's not doing well and he's about to die, or they're just trying to illustrate how dangerous that throne is. You know?
Mhm.
So
I like
Yeah.
that. I actually
Okay,
like that a lot.
I want to throw one out to you. What did you guys think? Because I mean, there's a portrayal about women in this show. As far as, hey, she was not going to be allowed to be queen, and they talk a lot about how
music to your
historically
ears,
that is
Vince.
not-
Music to your ears.
No, it's not it. But I am kind of curious about what you guys thought as it related to the dad, the hand of the king, sending his daughter in there to comfort the king. What did you guys take on that?
Comfort, right?
Yeah, comfort. I use that intentionally.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he did it to try to get her to woo him. And he even said, wear one of your mother's dresses. So
Yeah.
I thought they might take it there. I don't know if we'll hear something about it next episode where something happened. Or
I
something
feel-
will happen next episode.
Yeah, to your point, V. I mean, it was a little haphazard, right? Very, very much in passing. Like they had a moment and that's it. So I don't know. Maybe there's foreshadowing. They didn't really at any point even give each other a look because I felt like that was a very impactful moment. Like they kind of connected, right? But
Yeah,
later in
I
the
thought that was a good
episode, they
scene.
never.
I
Yeah.
thought it was
It was
weird.
interesting.
I thought it was
thought it was a
weird
great
because the way they
scene.
did it, they tried to make it where it was cringy initially. Like soon as she
Yeah.
walks through the door, you're like, this is a cringy moment. But then we go from it being cringy to them having like a touching moment, like they're relating. And I'm like, what do you want me to feel in this scene?
Well, how else is she supposed to get in his pants?
No. I mean, she was just as nervous as you. She's like, he said, you keep him company. She's like in his chambers. I fell out laughing when she said that because she already knew what the deal was. But I like that scene. I liked how she went in there and, he didn't want to really be dealt with. He didn't want her around. You know what I'm saying? The dad just sits him in there. And then she was like, yo, when my mom died, people talked to me. She got real with him. She stopped all the crap. She said, people aren't being real with you. I know what you've been through. This is how I felt. This is how I got through it. And, they had a moment, you know what I'm saying? To where,
but I think what was weird about it is, like, usually when you see a scene like that where the dad is almost kind of forcing you into this situation, you see the woman be completely uncomfortable throughout, the next few scenes of the movie because she's having to do this because she's being forced to. Whereas in this scene, it looked to me like she was like, I'm gung-ho. I do want to be in this situation. Because she was actually, I thought, genuinely trying to relate to him.
No,
Nobody else like that?
To me,
I wouldn't go that far. I don't know.
And she's real tight with his daughter too, though. You know what I'm saying? So they have a relationship.
She looked uncomfortable the moment she walked out of his room when he told her basically to keep the king comfortable. She looked uncomfortable. She looked stiff walking out.
Right.
And you could tell she was super nervous walking in.
That's what I'm saying. It went from cringy to almost like, did you just show me a tender moment from this? What?
She knows him. Yeah, she knows him though, Vince. You know what I'm saying? She knows that she's real tight with the daughter, like best friends. So it was one of those situations where she went in there and then they were pretending. It almost seemed like they were pretending. And she said, you know what? Let's cut the crap. I've been in your shoes before. People were talking to me in riddles. That's what she said. She said, when people talk to me, they're like riddles. And then you saw him look at her and she was like, I know. She basically just said, I know what you're going through right now. And I know how people are treating you right now. I'm not going to treat you like that. Now you can call that, like you say, Vince, you could call it, if you think she was seducing him, then I get your point. But I don't think it was like a art of seduction or anything like that. I think that she just, knows who he is. And she just, at that moment, they had a human moment together.
All right, here we go.
I took it like she was really trying to seduce. I did take it like she was trying to seduce him.
Yeah, I figured that later on. I didn't think so, but
I think she was, but she's also being honest. Like she's seducing him because that's what her father wants. So she's gonna have to go in there and do that. But that was her real self speaking at that time. Like she does look up to the guy, or it is her best friend's father. So she does want him to feel better generally, but then she's got to go do what she's got to go do. I guess, right? Back in those days, that was. So
I'm going to give you guys an LA, right? Little forbearing here. You guys ready?
Okay.
We're going to have a Bolton moment coming up.
Okay.
All right. The Boltons. So basically, what's going to happen? Yeah, absolutely. Hightower isn't done with this. Hightower's not done just because he named the successor, right? Like, what if things move forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things move forward. He ends up betting her, and now they've got a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's got to go up against his own daughter, right?
Nah, I don't see that.
Come on.
I think
it's coming. It's coming.
No, he'll be dead. You talking about the king go against his daughter?
Yeah, he's gonna leave it. He's gonna leave an heir. Here we go. That's it.
No. Well, now I do believe there's going to be competition.
If he impregnates her, then that to me just says Allison's going to die. She's going to die because
no.
Well, if it's Game of Thrones,
now I'm really interested.
No, because that scene he had with her, that scene that he had with his daughter at the end of the episode, you know what I'm saying? In my eyes, you got to think about it, he lost everything. He lost his wife, his son, and his brother in a week. So all he has left is his daughter, and that's basically what he told her. Like, hey, man, I messed up my whole life. My whole life, I just kept on looking for this dude, this boy, all this other stuff. You remind me of your mother. She's set. You know what I'm saying? As long as he's alive, she's set, man. He basically threw the gauntlet down for her.
We just said we don't expect him to be alive long.
Yes, that's why I said as long. That's why I said as long as he's alive. As long as he's alive.
But as a guy who watched years of soap operas, All My Children, Young and the Restless, whatever it is, where is the drama? The drama is, of course, going to be if Allison is pregnant. So you have to have that scenario where it kind of puts Allison and the daughter at odds, Rhaenyra at odds, because she wants this to be the heir now, and Rhaenyra's like, I already been named. So that's where the drama is. So you got to expect the drama.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing: I don't remember who the fight was. The Civil War was. Was it between Daemon and Rhaenyra, or was it between male heir?
I don't know. That's what I
don't want to remember either. But
they already set it up. It's between the uncle and the niece. I'm telling you, it's already set up.
Hold on.
Okay.
So there would be very Game of Thrones for them to throw us off like that. Hey, you think it's going to be Daemon? We'll take him out early, and the actual true Civil War is going to be between that male heir and her. So it could happen. I doubt it. But it could happen.
She got a dragon. That girl ain't making it. The first thing we saw was a dragon flying with her on it.
You got a
that
dragon
high tower
too.
dude ain't finna go up.
We all know what happens when a male heir shows up. It's just chaos, and I'm just saying it's a catalyst for chaos and a great opportunity for writing. So that's my little gift to you guys.
I'm not discounting that because there's part of me that my memory that thinks that Daemon does go down early.
It's obviously going to be Daemon. Look. So there's two montages in this episode, right? Two montages. The first one is when they're jousting and when she's having the baby in the birth, right? So they're basically saying they're showing fighting on both sides. I don't know what that means, you know what I'm saying? But basically, it just showed juxtapose that. But at the end, where they were saying that she was the king, they're saying that she was becoming the successor. It was showing Daemon, petting his little dragon. Well, he ain't little, and showing that girl his dragon. They've already set it up. It's going to be the uncle, and it's going to be versus the niece. He ain't going to do nothing while the dad's alive, but as soon as he's gone and they try to put her on the throne, it's over with. They can't.
That might be the immediate aftermath, but I think as the show goes on and she has that baby and that baby turns out to be a male, I think that's where additional drama comes into the picture. It's just what makes sense from a writing standpoint.
Right. Okay. You know what? I can't argue with you guys. Can't argue with you. Solid point. Vince, you simplified it. Clooney over there, he made it. He's doing the bolts and stuff. I keep telling y'all, don't bring up that Game of Thrones show to me, man. You simplified it, Vince. I actually agree with you guys now. Stop bringing that show up to me.
You know what else I liked about season 8 Game of Thrones?
What you like? Was there something you liked?
I'm about to bring this up too. So the dad's talking to the daughter. He's like, "Yo, he had a dream about the White Walkers coming and they're gonna kill everyone." And he called it a song at Ice and Fire. I almost threw my drink at the TV. Like, damn it! I was enjoying this show, and you keep on bringing up this season, man. I'm through with it. I don't want to hear about it. But that was interesting that they did say that.
It was a little heavy-handed, I thought. Like, they could have left it at the foreshadowing. You didn't have to throw in he called it a Song of Ice and Fire. We all know Samuel Tarly is the one who called it the Song of Ice and Fire.
Dude, that was a George R. Martin FU to Dumb and D&D. That was him saying, this is my story of Song of Ice and Fire is based on this, not the crap you guys got. That's what I took it as. I thought it was
a lot of authors though insert a character in their story that's kind of a avatar to them, and I think Samuel Tarly was George R. Martin to an extent. So
I'm pretty sure he wrote it, but I think that what they basically said was this dream that I have is what it is. It's coming later on, but I think it was a shot. That's my personal opinion.
Every time I hear about him. Go on, Vince.
I was just going to ask, did this show get you guys excited for Jon Snow Part 2 that's supposed to be coming?
Eric?
Oh, we're gonna jump into that. We're gonna jump into that.
I'm just curious, like after you saw
I don't
that,
want to see that
show. I mean, we have to see that.
You have to give it a shot. You got to give it a shot.
We will be reviewing that show.
This is the prince that was promised that did nothing. I mean, we got to see that show. He's got to do something.
Was he the prince that was promised? He wasn't the prince that was promised.
I always took it that he.
Well, who was the prince that was promised? Apparently, nobody was the prince that was promised.
It wasn't him. And honestly, in the books, from what they say, is it was just a folktale. So it was just something that some dudes on Reddit went and ran with. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't Jon Snow. We know that now.
You guys didn't take him as the prince that was promised. I thought he was.
He did kill me.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
Let me ask a serious question. This is for all three of y'all. Do you guys really want to see this Jon Snow show? Really?
We're gonna watch it. We have to watch it.
No. Honestly, that's not what I'm asking.
I want to see it. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Vince, you don't count. You like season 8. You two, the two important people on this thing. Do y'all really want to see the Jon Snow show? Let's be real. Come on.
Let's. You want me to be 100% honest? Because I know how crazy it will drive you. Then yes, I want to see that show. If nothing else, just for great content for this channel.
No, Ancho, nothing to do with me. Just
very honest.
Do you, in your personal mind, want to see a show about Jon Snow moving forward with no White Walkers? He's banned to the north. Do you want to see?
Are there going to be no White Walkers? We don't know.
Oh my god, dude!
I want to see a show about Jon Snow more than I wanted to see a show about the House of Targaryen.
Here's the thing: I do want it because I'm hoping that they redeem the ending of season 8. That's why I want it. I want the show to be good enough.
They got rid of the best character. The best character's dead. He killed her.
Yeah, well, you just have to redeem it. You have to.
But his storyline had value too, though. You kind of dismissing him like he's trash, but he had value too. I mean, the time that he was on the wall, the story with him falling in love with the
Egret.
waddling,
Yeah.
all that stuff. You kind of had a vested interest in him too. So I don't know if it's enough to carry a show. You'll have to bring in additional characters. But I mean, I did spend 8 seasons with this cat learning his journey. So I hope this isn't the end of it. I'm game for it.
LA, what about you? Do you want to see the Jon Snow show?
Man, how many
That's a great title for it, by the way.
How many stupid Marvel movies have I seen just because I was like, man, maybe this one will be good?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I get sucked in. They're just starting out again with this stuff. I gotta know what they're gonna do. I'm gonna give it 1-2 episodes. You know, I'm gonna do the old Vince good try, and we'll go from there.
I'll watch it, but I'm not excited for it at all.
What did Kit Harington ever do to you,
Hey, he killed Khaleesi, man. Fuck that guy. And I ain't supposed to cuss this thing. I don't like him. I don't want to see him in movies. I don't want to see his face, man.
He killed your Khaleesi, man. He killed your Khaleesi.
Well, that's why V-Dub loves him.
And then Drogon had a chance to burn him down. Nah, man, I'm done with him, man.
Send him to the Widow Hut.
Instead of
to the Widow Hut.
Sure enough, we need to start calling him Grey Worm because I mean he's about pissed off. He's about pissed off like Grey Worm was. Well,
that's a great nickname. That might just have to happen. You might just have to be Grey Worm.
Hey, don't ever make a joke like that in front of our fans again.
Oh man,
Too good.
You be like the anti-Gay Worm. He's the real Sully.
I can't
very Sully.
Hey, oh man, I just saw. Sorry. I gotta say it now. I just saw a preview. He's in a new show. It's an interview with the Vampire remake. But yeah, let's it's a TV show.
Yo, I love that series of books, and so I'm actually gonna watch that show.
Let's get back to this. Vince keeps on bringing up Jon Snow and Tyrion, and I know you didn't bring him up and stuff like that, man.
But do you think we'll have another brand because he did have the best story according to.
He'll be in the Jon Snow. All of them be in the Jon Snow series.
That's good.
But I will say this.
That's good.
I see your point.
LA is drinking.
I see your point, Luis, that you brought up. If you hadn't said the Boltons, I would have took it more seriously. Vince, for once in his life, simplified it. I'm on board with y'all. I think that she can have a male heir, and I think that can cause some issues later on in the show. And,
I mean, it just brings.
I'm on board with that theory.
I mean, listen, this Damon storyline, how long can they drag it out before it gets tired? You're going to have to add more layers, right? So, yeah, it makes sense.
I don't think you have to add more layers because he got a dragon, she got a dragon. So the thing about it is because they both got the big dragons because they said her dragon's about to be as big as his. What I thought it was just going to be is like them splitting up the land of Westeros, for the heir throne and people taking sides, kind of like the Starks and the Lannisters, kind of like the same thing. And then how that war goes, and then you start introducing all the different factions. And apparently, saying she likes the dude from Dorne. So Dorne's going to get involved, and I think they're setting up, all the different sides already. And that's how I took it, But now that you guys threw that in there, that is another wrinkle. I didn't think about that. I think it'd be pretty cool because they did introduce the the Starks at the end of it too.
Yep. Yeah.
So I think the next show that they're going to spin off of this is going to be the prequel to all of this, which is going to be simply about that dagger, right? The lifetimes of the dagger.
Was in the show. Yeah, you're right.
Oh my god, we're going to see that again and again. Oh my gosh.
I kind of want to low-key see a show about Valeria. I wish they would do that show. That would be insane budget with all those dragons, though. That's probably why they'll never do that show. But give me an animated series, something about the Doom of Valeria.
That would be legit. Yeah.
But so we can all say that we all pretty much enjoyed the first episode. We're all excited to see where it goes. Mm-hmm. Have they put out a trailer for any of the season or for the next episode yet? Have you guys seen anything?
If they, I can look and then we can watch a little bit of it. Let's see.
At the very tail end after the credits rolled, they gave you the previews for the upcoming episodes. Did you guys watch those?
I did not.
No, they did give it to you?
Yeah. There was this season on House Targaryen, and it gave you a couple of things that are happening.
So it depends on your streaming service. Sometimes they don't work very well. Like if Apple TV, they do a good job with it. Like, Roku and Google sometimes don't do a good job.
Hey, do you guys want to watch it right now?
Put the trailer.
Well, I've watched it, so I'll let you guys watch it. Yeah.
All right, let me go ahead and download it real quick.
He's gonna put it on the screen.
Yeah, I can put it on the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Hey, Louis, LA. My bad, I didn't mean to say your name. LA. Have you seen the movie Orphan, the first one?
No.
Okay, never mind. I didn't know if that was your type of movie. It's a horror movie, but this second one, I'm telling everyone to watch this, man. Some crazy stuff happens, man. But I'll leave it at that.
It's movies like that. I'm sorry, but it gives it. So if for those of you that don't know, my wife is mental health. She works for organizations that help out with like adoption and that type of stuff. And I don't want to bring this down, but the reality is it puts a terrible damper on adoption rates. Stuff like that, man. It's horrible.
Oh, really?
You're right.
Oh, yeah,
You're right.
Absolutely.
Hey, the story, the real story happened last summer in real life, though. Did you hear about that?
So I don't even pay mind to any of that stuff. To me, it's trash. Like it's a money grab. They're trying to sensationalize stuff because I don't know. It just hits a little too close to home. But hey, entertainment wise, you do you.
Oh man, it's a turn your brain. I tell people all the time. I tell people it's a turn your brain off and just to enjoy, just see how psycho the world can be. But
sure,
yeah.
I get you.
Did you and your wife ever watch Old Boy, the Korean version?
Man, no. We keep talking like, oh, we got to watch that one show, and Ancho's got us on, and it just never happens, man. So we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
All right. We're about to
crash. Oh, okay.
Okay, we're about to watch. Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah.
From my blood come the prince that was promised, and his will be the song of ice and fire.
The burden of this knowledge. It is larger than the throne. It is larger than you.
The king chose Rhaenyra. The realm will not accept her.
Men would sooner put the realm to the torch than see a woman ascend the Iron Throne.
I will be queen of the 7 kingdoms.
You may do as you wish, but I am cold in my grave.
Dreams didn't make us kings. Dragons did.
Let the people remember the ancient strength of House Targaryen.
No king has ever lived that hasn't had to forfeit the lives of a few to protect the many.
You are no conqueror. You are a plague.
Our houses are bound by a common cause.
Perhaps. But there will be blood.
So let's play it out. Make sure there's nothing else here. So looks like we're getting the Civil War early, huh?
Yeah, it's gonna be a time jump too.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
in for this season, man. It's gonna be a ride, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a ride, man. Like it looks like the king may live a little bit longer than I thought. Vince may be right. It might be 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah, I was surprised.
You know what? I thought just now, as I watched that the dragons are the star of the show.
It's always a bear. It's always a dragon with this guy.
It's always the dragons, man.
Are you a furry or something, man?
Yeah.
The dragons are the star of the show. I don't care what the characters do. It's all about the dragons.
Yeah, man. Like I see the Doran connection, and then you see the dude, the Valeria Corlys, whatever his name is. He's taking sides. Like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. And I do not want to read the books. I do not want spoilers. I want to enjoy it. I want to enjoy it and see how it goes.
Hey, and that clip was Viserys. Did he have his brother on the ground with a knife? Was that his brother that he had pinned down?
Oh, he said you're no conqueror, you're a plague. So yeah, I'm assuming it was.
Yeah, it looked like his brother. So I was like,
it looks like we're also going to have other houses vying for the throne. Whoever that lady was, maybe she was from House of Dorne. It looked like she might be talking that night from Dorne. So
wait, what lady said that?
She said, "I will be queen of the 7 kingdoms."
No, that's the time jump, dude. So it showed her. It showed the little girl, and then it showed a girl with this pretty much the same clothes on with blonde hair that looked older. It's a time jump. So that's why, the lady talking in the beginning, like my father, you know what I'm saying? So that's who that's going to be.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Well, that's a shame because I enjoyed the actress playing.
I thought she did a damn good
yeah.
job. But I was wondering how they're going to do that, because the reason I was thinking there's going to be a time jump, I was like, are they going to really make us grow up with all these people and, make the Civil War go out for 7-8 years like they did the last Game of Thrones? Because I don't think people would tune in for that long for this type of story. You know what I'm saying? What Song House of Fire, Ice and Fire had going for it was that after a point, no one knew where the story was going. You know what I'm saying? But then everyone was like, I just want it to end. Oh my God, they need to get together and stuff like that. So I think it's a lesson learned.
Hey, but listen, we've seen time be played with in a Game of Thrones. When you can run across the entire north of the winter.
Okay. Those episodes don't count, man. The George R. R. Martin, he's back into this, and you can tell they're bringing the realism back. That's another thing I liked about the show. You could tell they're bringing the realism back.
Yeah, agreed.
Those jousting scenes were pretty damn good.
Yeah, those night fight and those scenes, filming night fights is always kind of tough, right? Because the suit of armor is heavy, and those actors have to try to, or those the stunt guys have to try to fight in that armor, and ain't pretty. But they did a lot of jump cuts, kind of very Jason Bourne-ish. But that's kind of how you got to do it, right?
I didn't think they jump cut that much in these scenes, man.
It seemed to me like they did in that when they both got off the horse and they start fighting sword to sword.
Yeah, it looked pretty. I mean, it was jump cutting from that to the birth scene, but I don't think the fight had jump cuts to it. I think they could have kept it together. But there's a reason for everything. I just haven't put that two and two together. I could tell this season is all about symbolism and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Did you guys think the show had enough action for first episode?
Yeah, we had a joust scene. I love the way they did that joust scene because it made it seem very, very.
I'm sorry, Asha said that. Yeah, we had a joust scene. That's all it took, Asha. That's all the action you needed, huh?
Well, we had some other types of action in there that was well represented as well. But yeah, I like the way they did that because it seemed like a sporting event. Like it was very much reminiscent of a sporting event, which is what it was for the time. You got the feel of being in a sporting event. So,
but I thought LA said it right. I think they played it safe. I don't think there was enough.
To my point again, like I was almost kind of expecting when they show the entire arena, right? They showed the whole thing. For a moment, I was like, man, what would have been really cool? What if they had like dragon jousting? Or you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like what?
Dragon jousting.
Give me some dragon jousting. Like,
well, that's what the buildup is, because we know it comes to the dance of dragons. That's what the buildup is.
Like there was nothing like what are we gonna talk? What are you gonna talk about at work the next day? Did you see the?
But there's only
dragon
two people
jousting. That would have been something. I don't know.
Targaryens ride dragons though.
There's only two dragons that are being ridden. So,
I mean, all right, that's fair. That's actually
no. Didn't they say there were 9? Are there only 2? I thought they said there were 9. I thought I heard somewhere there were 9.
They said 10. I thought there were 10 dragons.
Yeah, they said there are like 10 or 9 dragons that are being like that are ridden right now. But those 2 are the big ones. But I think they said they're 9 or 10. You're right. They said the higher number. Hey, you know another thing about this show that reminded me of, now I'm the one bringing up Game of Thrones, but reminded me of my homegirl Cersei, the King's Guard, man, because no one used it like Cersei. Like when the brother tried to step forward and how they stepped in front of him. I thought that was pretty. Those are always the best. Those are always some of my best scenes. And my favorite scene in Game of Thrones history is when Littlefinger was like, Vince Mary used to show you this. He was like, this is power. He had that piece of paper. He's like, knowledge is power. And she's like, wait, what? She had him walk backwards, turn around in circles.
Yeah.
That was
power is power.
Yeah, power is power. That was my favorite line from her.
That's right.
Yeah, no, her favorite line. My favorite line from her is, "I choose violence." She still
that's classic. She has so many, man.
She had some bangers.
That lady was like, she had another one. That lady, the nun was like, "I'm ready to meet my maker." She's like, "Oh, you mean today?" Like, no, you ain't getting it today. That ain't happening. I'm ready to meet God. She said, "This is the mountain. He's your God now." I was like, "Dang, man, she's hardcore." Yeah, you're right, man. You're right, Luis. I mean, LA.
That's right.
Hey, you're right, bro. Because they need some quotes. They got to get the quotes in there. They got to get the characters in there. And I don't know who's set up to be the Cersei. You know what, man? You guys kind of flipped it on the head. The little girl we're following may be the Cersei character. She may turn out to be the villain.
Yeah,
they may misdirection with us, with her narrating the story, and then her being promised, because you remember they already let us know that she's a spoiled brat. You know what I'm saying? She typically gets what she wants. She's also, she's power hungry. You know what I'm saying? Her friend kind of called her out for that, and she tried to deny it. So she may be like the Cersei type character in the show.
I think you might see it be the black dude's wife, the one that was up to be queen, and she decided to, and the king decided to go with Rhaenyra's dad. But I think the wife, I think she may have some little Cersei in her, and they haven't played that angle just yet.
Everybody's got an angle in Game of Thrones, man.
But she was.
But I mean, I think V's got some on that because his nickname is the Sea Snake. So I don't know what kind of foreboding the sea snake might mean, but yeah, was it Lord Corlys?
Yeah, Corlys. Yeah.
About there.
Hey, but in the trailer, she was schooling. She was schooling the little girl in the trailer. I don't know if she's gonna be Cersei because she was schooling her. She was like, "Hey,
Rhaenys is her name." Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that. E. It did look like she was schooling her. It looked like she was taking the stance of, "Listen, they screwed me out of the throne because I'm a woman. I don't want them to do the same to you."
Yeah.
But she does have a son.
In the beginning, Cersei was schooling Sansa in certain episodes. So
but
I don't know if that carries a lot of weight.
She hated Sansa though, bro. She knew Joffrey was. She didn't like Sansa, dude. She killed her wolf immediately.
Hey, well, I don't know if this lady really likes, the queen that was promised. I don't know if she likes her like that. So
I can see that. I can see that. I just haven't seen anything to show. Like Cersei, we saw from the moment we saw her. You know what I'm saying? You knew Cersei was just one of those characters. But I see your point. You may be right, Vince. You convinced me on the other one. You ain't convincing me on this one, though. But,
I'll have to see more of her before I make my judgment because we didn't see. I mean, the focus was very much not on her. And she seems like she's very much going to be a background character. Now,
my money's on the little girl becoming the evil one.
I like that theory. I like that theory a lot.
That's
and then I do think we are going to get a male heir though eventually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah, you guys convinced me on that one. I agree on that one. I agree.
And Hightower so far is coming off like a poor man's Littlefinger, right? So he definitely got some scheming. Nobody's gonna out Littlefinger, man.
King, I don't know how to tell you this, but there was a toast. I was like, really, dude? You ratting like that?
I mean, he's supposed to rat on that.
Finger move.
That was out of line, though, man. That was out of line.
Yeah, that's a straight little finger move, man.
So, it's a little finger move, but yeah, no, Aaron's right. That was out of line, right? That was out of line.
You got to make. He had to make that move because let's say someone else was, conniving on there, and then he's the hand of the king, and he's like, "Oh, you didn't know about this?" I think his brother put him in a bad position.
I don't know. I don't know if I take Hightower to be loyal or disloyal just yet. I mean, I think the jury's out on his character.
Oh, I don't think he's loyal at all. He already sent his daughter to the king.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's looking out for his own, but I don't think he wants to be king.
I think he was looking out for his own too. Honestly,
no. You know what? He did have a pretty good line when he's like my brother. He doesn't want the throne. And he was like, well, there's not a man alive who doesn't want. And he even including him, he's like, there's not a man alive who doesn't want absolute power.
Yeah.
So he did say that. Yeah.
Well, I would be nervous for him because Daemon would have him killed day 2, if not day 1. So yeah, he's probably thinking about his own neck when he said when he tried to rat him out.
I think he wants to be. I think he's very much in the vein of, the older Lannister, Charles Dance's character, whose name is escaping me. Tywin. Thank you. He wants his daughter to give birth to that heir, and he wants to be the man behind the shadows, the puppet master, right? Just like Tywin was with Joffrey, So yeah, he'll have absolute power in that way, but I don't think he wants to sit on the throne, which is the smarter play. Why be the target when you can be the guy behind the target? When you can be the man behind the curtain?
I think they're protecting themselves a lot too. I don't know if you guys noticed. So when they were in that private chamber, right, where all the I guess the lords are talking to the king, like they didn't really have servants in there. Princess Rhaenyra came in and she was the one serving the wine, right? So it was like all very closed circuit. Then you've got Daemon, right, hiding in the shadows, kind of peering in. Yeah. So once again, that's the idea, I think, where they're trying to be a lot more closed off with what they're doing, but ultimately, obviously, there's obviously ways that people are going to sneak in, and they know how to. So how do those snakes, how do those cracks start forming? I think that's where we're gonna get to see the evolution of that, but they're going slow with this, man. I wish they would have those cracks a little bit more evident by now. Yeah, that's all.
It's episode 1, Louis.
It's a slow build. It's going to be a slow burn to an explosion. I think probably around episode 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I think that's when it's just going to take off for the rest of the season. I think the last 5 episodes are going to be must-watch TV. I think that's what they're going to do.
I agree. Outside season 1, most of the time, episode 1 of season of Game of Thrones was the slow burn, right? Nothing really ever happened in episode 1. A lot of times, you know, you have the occasional.
I don't know. I don't agree with that.
We had.
Yeah.
Episode 1 was always a banger. They always kicked the season off good. The first one,
every time.
Which one didn't?
They had the rep to lean on it if they didn't do too much, right? They already had a lot of stuff established, but I mean, are we
episode 1
that's a tricky thing with this. Season. Right. Are we comparing this to Game of Thrones? Or are we comparing it to just kind of another show that's starting out?
I mean, you got to compare it to Game of Thrones. It's a Game of Thrones property.
Well, it's definitely not as broad character-wise as Game of Thrones was. It took me about 6 or 7 episodes of Game of Thrones really to kind of know who the characters were.
Yeah, that's because you're old, though. Your memory's not too good.
Right here, I mean, you kind of know off the bat because there isn't the same breadth of characters. I mean, it's a lot less.
Not yet. We're going to need some more.
Grow. But I think in the first episode of Game of Thrones, you met a pretty good number.
Yeah, that's true. They did just drop you right in. They expect you to know everybody. Like, it took me a while to realize that we met the Men Without Banners, and I think in episode 1, of Game of Thrones. So, it is definitely better pace on that aspect. So, yeah, we'll see, man. I mean, I think we all agree, though. We like the start, except for LA there, didn't love it. But the rest of us are definitely itching for episode 2, I assume, right?
I think they did what they had to do to start the show, man. I think they didn't want to ruffle any feathers, and it's a slow burn build to get us back in the world. And kind of, you got to think about it. Game of Thrones became event television, but it wasn't always event television until after season 4. So I think this is kind of centering us back to the realism within Westeros, if that makes sense. But it didn't have a hook. I agree with that. It didn't have that hook.
I liked it. Didn't love it. I'll put it that way. I'll watch. I'm curious to see what happens next.
All right. Well, LA, the way we do things here is you got to give it a score. You can rate it. It's free form right now. We don't have a set system in place. So if you want to rate it,
LA's rating system. No. LA's rating system needs to be based on liquor.
I was about to say that, Vince. Why don't you ever let me finish? Oh man, quit interrupting people with your old ass. Have some patience, all right?
Is it top shelf?
I was about to say Scotch glasses, but this old man got to jump in here and be like,
"No, top shelf. I like that. I like the top shelf, and I like that one."
Whatever, Scotch glasses, top shelf, bottom shelf, mid shelf.
It's no Wells. It's no Wells.
Right.
I mean, their money pulled them up, right? So that we know it's not a Wells. All right. But am I putting it up here yet? No. It's still hanging out like right between this one and the one down here that you can barely see, because that's kind of where it's starting out.
If you had to name it a liquor brand right now, what would it be?
Man, what am I getting paid for that?
That's you got to establish these things early, right?
You know what? Actually, here's the funny thing. I would actually, and I think the whiskey community would understand this a little bit, right? I would say this is a Macallan. And Macallan in that it's solid, it's good, right? It's trusty. Mm-hmm. But right now, where Macallan is and where the show is, it's not blowing my socks off.
Okay.
Right?
Macallan, you listen.
But it's quality.
I need the sponsorship. All right.
Hey, that's it.
All right. VW, you're getting muted for interrupting me. So we're going to go to Aaron first.
He muted him for real. That's funny. So at a scale from 1 through 10, typically how I do it, I need to get a better thing. I give it a 9, man. I think there's a couple things they could have changed, but I couldn't ask for much more, except for that hook at the end. It wasn't perfect, but it got me back interested in the Game of Thrones. The Game of Thrones world, and that's all I can ask for.
Okay. V-Dub, you're the harshest critic out here. You're the man that likes to trash everything, literally.
No, I'm going to give it a 6. I mean, it's solid as far as the start goes. So I'm still going to wait. I mean, they didn't do anything that impressed me.
A 6 out of what, Vince? So
a 6 out of 10.
You didn't say one bad thing about the show the entire time, and you gave it a 6.
Did anything impress you? Did you go away from it being like, "Oh, this is future greatness"? No, I walked away from it saying this right here. It laid a foundation. We'll see where it goes. Nothing about this show made me say, "Oh, I'm expecting greatness." Nothing about it said I'm expecting trash. It made me just say, "Okay, they're laying a foundation." So I'm giving it something that can be changed down the road. But right now, it was a 6. Come on, man.
What did he give Prey, Anshul? What did he give Prey?
I gave it a 7.
Yeah, he gave it a 7.
You gave Prey a 7?
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I think the other two guys on this show gave it a 7 as well.
You guys all gave it a 7?
Yeah,
Come on now.
we guys have
I'm
it.
out of here.
But Vince gave it a 7 because he don't like females like that. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's not why, man. I
He's
love females.
They literally were like, we can't believe that this little girl beat up the Predator, and they took off.
You gave this show a D, Vince. A D. This show's not a D.
I gave it a 6, bro. It's a 6
out of 10.
Was there anything? Hold on, but a D is passing.
Was there anything that was great about the episode? I don't know, Vince. The opening shot with the dragons that we all agreed was great. That you literally said was great as well.
It's the greatest show based on an opening scene with a dragon.
You just said the dragons were the star of the show.
The setup
great
for the season was great.
What's that?
A 6, Vince. I'm sorry, I got to give pushback on this one. I usually don't. Dude,
what was special about this show?
What was special about the hate you give, Vince? What was special about the hate you give? You love that movie. That was not better than this. Oh no. I'm sorry. Sorry, you guys. Sorry,
yes,
you guys
it was better than this. I'm sorry, it was better than this.
Everyone turned off already. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That means it failed. That means it barely got over like
a 6. Hold on. In most states, a D is actually passing. I mean, maybe if it's not your major.
I mean, a 70. A 70 is passing in the
7. I wouldn't even flip that. I would let that slide. But a 6.
A 6, dude, is 1 point away from what you be cool with.
A D is still a beating for a kid in most households. All right, you're still getting beat when you bring home a D. All right, so
I would have got beat.
Yeah, so you're basically saying this show still needs to get its ass whipped by its parents.
It's a 6. It's a 6. See, I think 5 is average. I'm giving it slightly above average. That's what you got.
Slightly above average.
Understood.
Understood. I should just
V-dub scale. That's V-dub scale.
Based on principle. I'm gonna let it slide. I'm gonna let you have your opinion because everybody deserves to be stupid at some point in their lives.
Well, then why do you do it so often?
Because I'm hanging out with you. I'm killing brain cells, having to help you out every 5 minutes. You're dragging me down, man.
Hey,
my parents are so ashamed of me right now. All right. I'm going to give this a show an 8. I thought it was a solid beginning. Here's the thing. It had high expectations. We're going with high expectations. We all came in praising this show. And there's high expectations. It wasn't normal high expectations. It was heartbreak high expectations. We had dated a 10 only for them to cheat on us at the last moment right before the wedding and break our hearts. And so we met a girl just like her, and we didn't want to give her the time of day. We wanted every reason not to love this girl. But God damn it, she may have started liking her. All right? You know how fire a girl's got to be?
Their faces on your analogy, man, alone, bro.
You know how fire this girl got to be? I want to say how fire that...
So you're like, what the hell is Anshul talking about?
Man, you just get it confused all the time. All right? You stay over there with a 6. You know what, Vince? You get muted again.
He's beautiful, bro. Oh,
too much power.
Classic.
Power is power over here.
Power is power.
I like this show. I obviously like this show a lot better than this episode. I wouldn't say show. I like this episode a lot better than everybody else. But we'll see next week what happens, and just take it from there.
I mean, honestly, Aaron, here I'll unmute Vince. Honestly, I want to give it higher, but it's the first episode, so just based on principle, and you know what? Honestly, because of Game of Thrones, I'm afraid to rate it higher because I don't want to get burned for rating it higher. Okay. Well, the reality was, I really, really, really enjoyed this episode. I'm really excited for the next episode. And so in principle, I agree with you, but I just can't. I can't. I'm still snake bitten. But yeah, man, I had fun with this. I can't wait to do it next week. I can't wait for Vince to say something stupid again next week. 6, are you gonna be joining us next week? It doesn't sound like you really love the show that much.
No, hey, dude, I enjoyed it. I said it's slightly above average.
All right.
Just him saying that out loud just sounds so ridiculous to me.
To be honest, I'm shocked most at Cleasy. I'm shocked most at you, Cleasy, because I thought Cleasy was gonna come in and just rag it because his feelings were hurt so much from Game of Thrones' ending. I was like, I thought he was just gonna approach it like,
you gave season 8 of Game of Thrones higher than a 6. I believe you gave it an 8, and you just gave this show a 6.
Once again, stop living in the past, Anshul. We're talking about Ecclesi right here. I'm shocked that he gave it a 9.
I did. I gave it a 9 because it did what it was supposed to do, man. It was an introduction episode. I like the characters. There's not a character that didn't rub me wrong. I like the sets. I like the cinematography. I like the music. I like the action scene. There wasn't too much that I didn't like about the show. You know what I'm saying? So whenever I see something like that, that's just all around good, and it has me wanting to see more. I have to, and like Ansel said, this is one thing that I think you're underestimating. It had a task of everyone wanting to hate this show. We were looking for reasons to hate the show. I was looking for reasons to hate the show.
That's why I thought you were going to hate it.
But it didn't give me anything to hate it. And for it to accomplish that, man, I got to rate it higher.
Is that really where we're at today, guys? Come on.
Yeah.
You didn't give me a reason to hate it? Come on.
Yeah.
No,
it's
a
show.
Why?
Give
me something to like. Give me something to be excited about.
I watched Game of Thrones.
What did it happen? Did you like it? Hold up. Did you like it? And were you excited for the next episode?
Me?
Yes.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm curious, but I'm not excited. I'll put it that way. Right now, I mean, like I said, it's that trusty, dependable Macallan. I go to it because it's tasty. Am I waiting for the next time I drink it to be like, wow, this has got fireworks coming out? I can't wait to share this and spread the word about it. I'm not there yet. I'm not.
A lot of great experiences have been born out of curiosity.
Okay, Can I get a number grade? LA,
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
100%. I'd give that a 7 out of 10.
I'm cool.
It did its job. It did its job. That's it.
Let me say something real quick though. So I think I'm the only one here who watched Game of Thrones from the beginning, like the first episode, and watched.
No, I watched it from the beginning.
Okay, sorry,
yeah.
I didn't know that on. So excuse me.
Don't make these declaratives without getting the facts straight,
bro. You know what I'm saying? Don't beat me down. But okay, so me and Anshul. So one thing that's funny to me is season 1 wasn't well received like people thought it was. Like most people all the way through this, even when Ned was beheaded that first season, it still wasn't a hook. Like everyone was like, it wasn't must-watch TV. What made it must-watch TV was when that girl walked out that fire and came out with dragons. That's when everyone was like, yo, I got to see what happens now. People like the show.
But that's the thing. It made controversy right out of the gate. When Bean got decapitated, I mean, this is a major actor in a show that otherwise had actors that weren't that big in it. And suddenly you're sitting here cutting off the head of one of the biggest actors in the show. That's controversial.
That didn't happen in episode 1.
No, but it happened out early on. I'm just going off of Ecclesiastes.
No, it happened. No, it happened. It's happened in season 8. But I mean, dude always dies in this movie, so it wasn't really that shocking to me. It was shocking to everyone else. You know what I'm saying? Every movie. But I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean.
Controversial. It's interesting.
It was controversial. They're like they killed off. Yeah, they killed off the person they marketed the show with. They marketed the whole show with him, and that was very controversial. But even with that, I'm telling you, it wasn't until that last episode, the last minutes of that last episode, where everyone was like, "Yo, I gotta see what happens now," because it was you kind of knew the dragons are coming because she was carrying those eggs around, but you didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know. So it blew my mind. I was like, "Oh, it's about to go down now." That's my opinion.
And to the point you made earlier, it wasn't until season 4 where the show started getting put on GOAT status.
Season 3. It was Wrath of the Red Wedding. Season 4 is when
GOAT status, guys. We're talking about like, hey, what's a show where you come in the next day and you're already trying to get people to watch it with you?
Yeah, but it wasn't like that from the jump, though. That's the point.
It kind of was. I had people coming at me all the time, be like, "Oh, you got to check out the show. Check out the show." And I'm like, "Oh man, another medieval show. I don't know about this."
Yeah, that's how I couldn't get people to watch this after the Red Wedding. After the Red Wedding, I could get people to watch it, but I couldn't before it. I mean, think about Vince. Vince didn't watch it until season what? V-Dub, you didn't watch it until what? Season 6?
Yeah, 6 was done. I jumped in on 7, but I'll say this, and that's why I think everybody's viewing experience is different. Because you guys were telling me how great it was. And so I was already going to be somewhat vested in watching the series. But I will say, when I first watched episode 1, I was like, okay, this is good. Because where else had you seen before on TV brothers and sisters make it out like that? And you because it caught you off guard, like, what the hell? And then and at the time you thought they just killed the kid, and you don't usually see that, who you thought might have been an important character in the show. So they had 2 shockers in the last 5 minutes of the episode that did make me want to see episode 2.
Hold up. So you're saying if this episode had more incest, you would have been all in. You would have given it an 8.
No, I'm saying
I'm saying shock value. I'm saying I get what he's saying, and that's kind of what Luis. I mean, that's kind of what LA was saying in the beginning, like when they played it safe. There was no hook. This episode, they had no hook. That's the one thing that.
No, you're right. But I agree with the point you made earlier, where it's now Game of Thrones is established, so you don't need the hook, and so you can take time to build a story without having to rely on that hook for episode. Because we all know there's a certain Indian director out there who relies too heavily on hooks, and sometimes his stuff does not come out great because of it. And so, I think that's part of the reason season 8 of Game of Thrones fell. Is it we got to subvert expectations, and they relied too heavily on that crutch. I like the fact that they didn't come out of the gate saying, okay, everybody expects us to have that hook, to have that shocking ending. We're going to do it, story be damned. No, let's take our time. Let's build the story the best way possible. And if it means you don't have that shocking ending in the end of episode 1, so be it. As long as the story does not suffer for it, then I'm not hating it.
6 out of 10. Are you kidding me?
I know.
9 out of 10. Come on.
Yeah, 9 out of 10. That's the most shocking rating. Out of everything.
Besides them having a hook. Besides them having a hook, man, I really just can't see too much of what they could have did better. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to stand on its own feet. I wanted to stand on its own feet. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I do. I'm interested in, hopefully we get some people commenting, because I'm interested in going to Twitter now and seeing what the general reaction to this episode has been, because we're divided literally in half. If you're looking at the view, the bottom half is not as impressed as the top half. But
people versus dumb people. Glad to have LA on my side.
You know what? We're gonna record next time you come to me for some tech support. We're gonna record it and we're gonna show our viewers exactly how smart you are. Or next time we go to trivia night.
Oh God! Don't do that.
Hey, who's needed more tech support here lately though? Cleasy, me or Anshel? Anshel been screwing this up for about 3 weeks now.
What did I screw up today?
I can't agree. By virtue of you giving it a 6, I can't agree with you, Vince. I can't agree with anything you say right now. But
you guys are two off the board at this point. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, I listen. Vince is just a hater. He's officially an old man. He's officially getting off my lawn. He's about to go yell at some kids to get off his lawn as soon as we get out this podcast, because you have been ornery. You have not given anything a good rating since we started this channel, but that's okay.
I just gave Prey a 7.
Hey, hold on. Before we get off, let me ask this. Hey, Luis, what's your Prey score?
What's my what?
What would you do Prey?
Oh, Prey score. Oh man,
I would Prey on the top shelf.
It's I would put that like right next to top shelf. I would give that an 8 to 8.5. I thought it was great. I think they developed the story well. They didn't. I mean, I love how you guys keep talking about this whole she didn't kill the predator herself. She didn't, but that's the whole point. Is she recognized, she had a great story arc in terms of figuring out who she was. The whole movie was about figuring out how she could essentially kind of kill the beast that she had to kill and figure out who she was in the process of that whole thing.
You know what?
She did that, and it was fantastic.
So here's the thing, and I think we need to, reestablish this for new viewers, right? You're confused as to why they gave it a low score. Well, Vince gave it a low score because the protagonist was a female.
No,
Aaron gave it a low score because it was too much diversity for him. So,
hey, whatever. But anyway,
it was great. It was great action. I wanted to see it on a big screen. That was my biggest regret. I think that would have been fantastic, and I loved the way they treated and respected the culture. So I think all of that was great.
We did. We definitely gave it marks for putting some respect on the Comanche's name. Everybody to a T.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Enjoyed it for that. But listen, let's not. We'll go ahead and wrap this up. We've been over an hour, but hey, it's a Game of Thrones property. There's going to be some
first one.
Yeah, and divided. 2 people weren't impressed. 2 people were very impressed. I would have given it a 9. Don't let them give you a hard time for that, Aaron. I would have given it a 9 if it wasn't for season 8 Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So,
Dracarys.
Yeah, listen. Well, I'm interested in hearing what you guys have to think. I do want to get some reactions from all of you, and I do want to go on Twitter. And I can't wait to talk about the show next week. I think we can all agree on that, right? The next week. Yeah. It's going to be a fun conversation again. So please join us next week. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. LA, thank you for joining us. You're welcome anytime. And till next time, we out. Peace.
Peace.